So I've wanted to make robots for a long time, and I've had a bunch of ideas in my head for things that I could do, and one thing that stuck out in my mind as an approachable like first project that I could do is a balancing robot, like I've quickly drawn right here. One that has wheels and that stands upright, and that has a gyroscope or a sensor in it that detects when it's falling over and that tells it to drive the wheels in that direction so that it rights itself. And over the last probably month and a half or 2 months in my free time, I've modeled this up in SolidWorks, and I have made a number of drawings for the parts. And I'm making this video to like document the things that I've done so far that I can show people. I made those drawings, and I've made a few of them, really not many. Really, I've only made these two motor mounts and these two standoffs. I need to make 6 of these standoffs, 3 for each. And I also made this bearing block with 2 press fit bearings, one on each side. And the secondary purpose of this video is to show you the end of the process of making this. How I said that I press fit these bearings, and part of the reason it's taken me so long to do these few parts is that I'm also learning how to do the machining to make these parts. And if I figure out how to edit video, I should you should be watching me counterbore the holes for the bearings right now. I thought that was cool. It's a cool process. So that's how I made the holes. And now I think I'll cut to me from a few weeks ago trying to actually do the press fitting. So enjoy that. Okay, so this is the moment I've all been waiting for. I bored out the hole for this bearing. Now it's time for me to see if it is the right size or if I screwed it up. Yes. No. Oh my God. Okay. So I got the bearing out of the hole, and I took it back to the milling machine, and I counterbored just a pinch more. I don't think I tried to like recenter it as best as I could, but I don't think I did it terribly well. If you look in here, is it that one? Or is it the other one? No, it's this one. You can kind of see some not so smoothness right in the middle there. Please focus. Yeah, you can see some like lines there from, yeah. And I can even feel them just a little bit with my fingernail. But if I just put it in there with my fingers, it feels like it gets just a little, like it's a little difficult to get out, which makes me a little confident. So let's see. Let me push it over just a little bit so it's actually under the thing. and squish it again. Please turn. Fuck. Okay, so the bearing got stuck again. And so I got this, the hole through it is 3/8 of an inch, so I got this 3/8 drill bit to poke the bearing out from the other side, and you can see that it's a little sticking out a little bit. And I don't have a third hand but to turn it with, but you can turn it, the bearing turns now. There's a little bit of resistance, just a pinch more than there was before, but I think that's fine. My theory is that the initial hole that I did, well, I drilled the through hole that goes all the way through it, and then this like recessed hole I did with a 3/4 inch end mill, and then counterbored it to the exact right size. And the end mill, see, I can even feel it with my finger a little bit. The center of this hole is a little bit higher than the outside is. The outside of the hole is a little deeper, and so when I pressed this all the way in, this inner ring of the bearing was pressed up against the bottom of this hole. And that's even though this inner ring is recessed from the outer ring, but even so, I'm pretty sure it was touching the bottom. So I have the other one here, and I think that I'm going to have to set it like right there so that I don't accidentally press this bearing all the way in again, which seems a little janky, but let's see. And oh, I just realized that if I accidentally push this one all the way in, then I won't be able to use the drill bit trick to push it out from the other side because this bearing is there. So I was able to salvage my last mistake, but if I make it again, I don't know what I'm gonna do apart from start all the way over. So actually, hold on. Cut. Okay, here we go. Just had to move this out of the way. This actually has a hole in it. It's even better for my purposes. Or is it? It's not really flat. I don't think I'm not sure. Do I need it to be flat? I don't know if I need it to be flat for this to work well. Actually, I don't. I think this is a tight enough fit that this bearing has to be concentric when it when it goes in. Now I can't get it out again. Where can I get where's the thing that I can use with which to get this out again? There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna... Oh, sorry, I was just filming the floor. I'm gonna try and center that as best I can. And look under here. Is that all the way? Yes, it is. Cool, great. Now I can... And now, excuse me, I need both hands again. Okay, back to plan A. This is two different parts, and it hung over and fell over on me. So, back to this. Sorry about the stupid camera angle. Okay. Now be really careful. How much is that sticking out? Go. Oh my God. Okay, so, well, I thought that went horribly, but this one didn't have the same problem. See, well, I don't know how to hold my phone, but both of them, see, look at that, that one turns all right, and so does this one. This one I can actually hold and turn because it has less resistance. Cool. Great. So that was an adventure, or at least it was the most interesting part of the machining process so far. And that's all the mechanical stuff that I've done. And now I can talk about the, at least plan I have for the electronics. This is a Raspberry Pi, and then this is an inertial measurement unit. It's a gyroscope and accelerometer in one integrated circuit. It's a pretty cool little device, and the actual thing is actually just this little 4mm square integrated circuit that has everything. And there's actually a thermometer in there as well. I don't know why they included that, just for fun, I guess. But initially when I was first thinking about this, my plan in my head, I was thinking this will probably be easy. I'll just do a PID controller where the input will be, it'll measure using the gyroscope what angle the thing is at so that it can adjust accordingly. And then I'll give it a set point that's 0 degrees, or I guess 90 degrees from horizontal, and then that'll be that. And then I bought this and the thing, and it has turned out to be more complicated than I thought it would be. For example, the main thing is that getting the angular position or the orientation from the gyroscope is not as straightforward as I thought it would be. You can't just ask for that information directly because it measures angular velocity, which means that you have to write a program to integrate that data so that you get angular position. But even you can't really do that because there's noise in the signal, and then that will cause the angular position reading that you calculate to drift off from over time from what it actually is. And so you have to use the accelerometer as in conjunction with it, because it can measure the direction of gravity to point straight down. So you use those together and use what's called sensor fusion to take both of those inputs to get the orientation data that you want, and then you can feed that into a PID loop, of which you actually need a couple to have it stay upright. And I haven't gotten it to work yet because I watched a couple of online lectures. I can't fit all this. No, I can't fit that in the frame. I've been watching some online lectures about a thing called the Kalman filter, that is a method of doing what I just described, the sensor fusion, to get as accurate of an estimate of the angular position as I can get. I know this is a little boring, but I find it really interesting, and that's after I get the whole thing put together, that's what I'll be doing. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but I got these extrusions that I'm gonna make the frame of the robot out of. So that's that. Okay, so I put together the extrusions, and then this is, once I get the, once I make the parts to hold them together, this is what they'll look like. This was supposed to be like one of the brackets to have holes in it. Actually, hold on. This part. This is supposed to be one of these, but as you can see, if I line it up, I made this part I made it too big. It's not the right shape. But it's supposed to fit right there and hold this extrusion right here. But it's the wrong shape, so I actually used that to hold my phone up for the other shots. This is where the bearing block goes. There'll be another one over here once I make the other one. And then I have these two motors, which will sit like this, and the other one will be symmetric on the other side. And then, oh, actually, I didn't show. I also have these pulleys and a belt. And so, actually, the smaller pulley will be right there. And it'll sit where I showed it to you before. And then this larger pulley will sit right there. A shaft will go through it, through the bearing block, and then the wheel will be like on this side right here. So that's that. That's my plan.